Welcome to the Pierre and Catherine Labatt Softball Complex for the Northeast Delta Dental American Softball Championship hosted by the University of Maine. Game number 2 of the day and of the tournament features the number 5 ranked and host team, the University of Maine Black Bears, taking on the second-seeded Binghamton Bearcats. Brian Stackpole and Jonah Smith with you, and we have had a very fun opening salvo, an 8-1 victory for those UMass Lowell Riverhawks, and now we see who moves on as well as we take a look at the Northeast Delta Dental American Softball Championship bracket. One already in the books, and they see whether or not the Riverhawks will be taking on Bryant or if it'll be the Maine Black Bears, who would have to win to take on the Bulldogs, as the lowest-seeded winner will take on Bryant coming up at around 3 p.m. this afternoon. But let's key in some key players to watch here, Jonah, and two very talented ones for the respective sides. Kaylin Larkin, and then on the other side of things, Rachel Carey, who is the player of the year in the conference.
Certainly. Let's start with Larkin. You know, this is a player that Coach Kimberly Stiles did not get into the starting lineup mix until a little bit later in the season. But when Larkin got her shot, she capitalized. You see the statistics. Maine's top offensive weapon has some real power in there, too. 5 hits against the Binghamton Bearcats this year. Let's see what she can accomplish come tournament time. Rachel Carey, meanwhile, last year she was the America East Rookie of the Year. Could not have followed it up any better. I mean, look at that batting average. That is close to 50% of at-bats, which is just mind-boggling. It's like something out of a video game. 5th in the NCAA Division softball rankings in batting average, and she led the America East Conference in 5 categories. So pretty much a shoo-in for the Player of the Year due to her complete and total dominance at the dish.
It should be a fun one here today as the host team takes on the 2-seeded Binghamton Bearcats on the Northeast Delta Dental America East Softball Championships. We'll have the first pitch for you and so much more when we return on ESPN+.
Player number 22,
And welcome back to the Pierre and Catherine Labatt Softball Complex for the Northeast Delta Dental America Softball Championship, hosted by the University of Maine, and the host team, the University of Maine Black Bears, 12-34, 6-14 overall conference record, will be taking on the Binghamton Bearcats, the number 2 seed in this tournament, and another successful season for Coach Jess Bump and company there as well, as they didn't get the overall outright regular season title, but again, building on their tradition of excellence that we've seen from this Binghamton softball program over the last couple of years.
Yes, and the reigning tournament champion Bearcats are looking to put on another show come tournament time here as the Labatt Complex has been a happy stomping grounds for them over the young lifespan of its existence. But these two teams have had some closely contested games, including a couple of stunners here on this very turf that the Black Bears were able to wrench away from the heavily favored Bearcats.
Black Bears will be in a different dugout than they're normally accustomed to, as they'll be playing on the first base dugout. Normally the home team is on the third base side. That's befitting the higher seeded team. But you can see the University of Maine team clad their light blue uniforms with navy blue pinstripe numbers and letters. It'll be, I guess, the home Blacks uniforms for the Binghamton Bearcats, clad with that unique Binghamton green and white trim as well. But on paper, this is one that Binghamton, you would imagine, would be able to outslug the Black Bears and do a lot of things very successful. But Maine is sort of the America's postseason darlings over the last handful of seasons, where they've come from the lowest seeded or one of the lowest seeded teams in the tournament and have been able to be successful, winning some games that most people on paper wouldn't anticipate.
Certainly, the Black Bears have been on a bit of a dark horse streak in the last few tournaments, struggling at points during the regular season, but finding a way to put it all together when it matters most. However, they haven't put all the pieces together for a title in quite a while. Their last time was 2016, so 10 years between them and their last time hoisting the hardware. They want to go on a crazy run here and put on a show in front of the home fans. But again, you mentioned it, Brian, Binghamton, by far the most dangerous lineup in the America East. Not always the most consistent in the circle as a staff, but my goodness, they just score an insurmountable amount of runs time after time.
And now let's take a look at today's starting pitcher for Binghamton, presented by Service Credit Union. It's Olivia Kennedy, making her 15th start of the season, a 4.91 ERA with a 5-7 record. But when you have the offense behind you, you don't necessarily need to get the ERA down to a minuscule 2 or 3, because you just need to go out there and log out.
Sure thing. You're looking at the overall numbers there on the season as Kennedy is prepared to make her 15th start. But in 9 conference appearances and 7 starts in America East play, those numbers dwindle down. An ERA of just 2.51 and 27 walks in 21 strikeouts in the 44 2/3 innings. Does a good job limiting the hits. Batting average against of 275. Pretty solid number there for Olivia Kennedy in America East, although we do have her numbers against the Black Bears too, where she's seen a bit of a maybe a breakdown at times.
Well, this is the Black Bears starting lineup in the batting order that will be taking on Olivia Kennedy, starting with the leadoff hitter and second baseman Francesca Guerrera, Kaylin Larkin following her, then Neve Adam, Kira Inman hitting cleanup, Eviana Robles hitting fifth and playing shortstop, Madison Hand, the designated player today, Abby Ree getting the start in right field and hitting seventh, Maggie Helms playing left field and batting eighth, and the backstop, Morgan Poole, rounding out the batting order today. Warm-up pitches are completed here for Kennedy, and we are about ready to get Game 2 underway from this beautiful facility. Al will be the battery mate with Kennedy, Carey at third base, Minking Bach will be at shortstop, Kopek at second base, Emma Lawson, the standout, remember, from 2 years ago here at this tournament, playing first base, and then Wolf, McDonough, and Dodig from left to right in the outfield. Kennedy's second team, all-conference selection, also an all-academic selection as well, too, and that's one of the things you love about the Americas Conference. They pair great excellence with great academics as well. Kennedy trying to teach some lessons in the circle versus the Black Bears and upend the hometown favorite. So we see the sophomore Guerrera getting the first hacks and already taking one low into the turf with a favorable 1-0 hitters count. Another one low. Rain in the forecast here today, but it looks like it's going to be holding off for at least a little bit longer. There's some doubt whether or not that third game will be able to get squeezed in, but we're keeping our fingers crossed here from Orono. This one peppers over the heart of the plate, and the count now will be 2-1 to the leadoff hitter and second baseman for the Bears.
And for just a sophomore, Francesca Guerrera just has such poise up there at the plate and in the middle infield. Part of the 2025 all-rookie team.
Another one missing the zone. A third one, this time wide, and a 3-1 count. Home plate umpire today in game number 2, Nathan Nagel. Thomas Oliver now in the field. at first base and Robert Bloss at the third base position. As the count will now be full. Guerrera making 46th appearance and 46th start of the season. Back up the middle, and it's bobbled. No play on this one, and the Black Bears will get a leadoff runner. After that was just bobbled at shortstop, and something to keep an eye on here as Inkenbach unable to get that one cleanly.
Certainly a surprise. Rebecca Minickbach extremely sound at the shortstop position, just her 8th error this season. Fielding percentage hovering right around .940. She's also been a part of 7 double plays. Very strong middle infield here defensively for Binghamton. That's a rare miscue. We'll see if that's able to get wiped out here by one of those double plays that Jonah mentioned. As the Black Bears have Larkin up at the plate. Emerged as one of the key cogs in this Black Bear lineup. There's another one missing the zone, 2-0 the count. Larkin hailing from Midfield, Massachusetts. All rookie selection. On-base percentage was good for 5th in the Americas Conference in the statistical leads. That's right. When you see Kaylin Larkin, you think of the pop, the extra base ability, the home runs, but she also knows how to take her walks. Took 2 walks in the 11-7 Black Bear win against Binghamton their last time out, and she came around to score 3 times. 3-0 pitch. Gave me over fastball. It's been a little bit of a struggle for Kennedy to consistently hit the zone, but you wonder whether it's just the early stages in trying to find that area in the zone, whether or not it might just be trying to pinpoint too much. 3-1 pitch. Right back at the first baseman, Lawson with a spin move to tag the base hit. A web gem for the ages for Emma Lawson. This play will dramatically change the complexion of this inning. Lawson on her toes reaches up and snags that one out of the air. You said it's spinning like a Beyblade. Turned right around 180 degrees, slapped that glove on the base for the double play. 3 unassisted double play. And Lawson with cat-like reflexes. I thought initially the best she could possibly do is get the glove on that ball and knock it maybe up or down. And get just 1 out, but instead 2. Bases emptied again. Now Eve Adams stepping up to the plate with the bases empty. Nice frame by Allen, unable to coerce our home plate umpire to give the strike, and it's again a 2-0 count. Olivia Kennedy still working on that command. A number of outings against Maine this year, 15 1/3 innings pitched, allowed 15 free passes, and that is just frankly too many in that span. This one finds the low inside corner right at the knees. Perfectly placed. And again, the fatigue of a pitch count, not necessarily as much of a factor as its baseball counterpart, but you're still expending energy on every pitch. As this one misses outside, 3-1. Good news in early May in the state of Maine. This is a relatively chilly condition, environment, I would say. Grounded weekly third base side towards the Binghamton dugout, and the count will be full with 2 down. Payoff pitch. Sends this one back towards the track, ranging back and over the head and off the Delta Dental sign. Extra bases here for Neve Adams. She sent that one for a ride, just a little short of going yard, but a nice piece of hitting with 2 down. Opposite field smash from Neve Adams. Goes for extra bases. Great swing. Got right underneath it and prodded it out off the wall in right center field of the Labatt complex. And think back to that double play, Brian, and the heads-up play by Emma Lawson there at first base. That definitely saves a run in this situation. Yeah, let's say best case scenario outside the double play, she only gets 1 out. That still gives Maine a 1-0 lead. Instead, now just a runner in scoring position with 2 down. Kira Inman stepping to the plate, the center fielder for the Black Bears, sporting a .263 batting average.
It does have some power potential with 6 home runs and 26 runs batted in. Bearcats will talk things over. And with a playoff atmosphere, with every pitch mattering, you want to make sure everything is aligned between coaching staff and also the players on the field. Allen retreats back behind home plate. Infielders reassess to the spot in their position and where they had been before. Now we await this 1-0 pitch to the cleanup hitter for the Black Bears. And that one's going to be a called strike. Even the count up at 1-1 to Inman. Kieran, all academic selection yesterday. Well, rifled that one. Nearly hitting Robles over in the on-deck circle, who was statuesque and didn't even move an inch.
Kira Inman in the cleanup spot in an 8-6 Binghamton win here at the LeBlanc Complex between these two teams earlier this year. Inman hit a grand slam in the top of the first inning to get the Black Bears on the board first. Outfield playing on the warning track like they're expecting some more first inning fireworks.
The rock and fire from Kennedy. That one bounces in the turf, and it's going to allow the base runner and Adams to move into third base.
And that double play all the more important now. That 2 outs in 1 swing of the bat, courtesy of Lawson at first base, eliminates the possibility of a sacrifice hit here.
Here's the 2-2. Oh, what a pitch. Outside half of the plate, freezes Inman and ends the inning. Black Bears threaten but don't score as we head to the bottom of the first inning in the Northeast Delta Dental American Softball Championship on ESPN+.
At Northeast Delta Dental, we love to see people smile. And as the leading provider of quality dental coverage for Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont, we're committed to helping entire communities smile. Whether it's through education, supporting our veterans, or giving and volunteering, we're helping to make our communities even stronger. Learn more about Northeast Delta Dental at nedelta.com. We think you'll find a lot to smile about.
At Service Credit Union, we believe that your life is a story. And like most stories, every chapter brings something different. A new adventure, a new calling, a new hero, and even a new beginning. No matter what page you're on, we'll be with you. Service Credit Union.
At the break of dawn, our conference awakens, and champions will rise, pulsing like a battle drum, steady and unyielding, ready to face any challenge through grit and resolve. Out here rises the heart of the tenacious, fueled by conviction and driven by commitment to team and alma mater. This is our battle cry that rings out through the generations. The sun rises in the east, so does our march towards greatness, which has only just begun. This is the America East.
Let's take a look at today's starting pitcher presented by Service Credit Union for the University of Maine Black Bears. It's Ava Zettelmoyer. As Ava will try to keep this prolific Bearcat attack at bay with a 3-8 record, 5.18 ERA through 75 and 2/3 innings pitched in 2026.
Leading off for Binghamton, the third baseman, number 42, Rachel Carey.
It's always good, too, when you're the opposing pitcher and the first batter you face and the first pitcher you're going to throw to is the current America East Player of the Year, who skies this one towards the dugout. Looks to be playable, and Larkin will come down with it. Zettelmoyer's pumped up out there. 1 pitch, 1 out at the bottom of the first.
And that's a big out indeed. Rachel Carey, the Player of the Year for a reason. Top to bottom, her statistics and her portfolio of highlights are just staggering. And getting a free pop out there is really great. Alyssa Allen, however, can do it herself too.
And instead she gets plunked right on the side, and she'll head down to first. So no record-breaking home run on this plate appearance, but it'll be the first base runner of the contest for the Bearcats.
Yeah, so many interesting statistics to bring up with Elissa Allen. Just has had an amazing season herself. One statistic here, that's the 7th pitch that she's been hit with this season.
Well, we'll go into that in more detail, too. Just didn't even get a chance to get going. As Zettelmoyer working very, very quickly in the circle here. This pitch missing outside. First one not resulting in a base runner or an out. As we see number 17, Darian McDonough. Rhode Island native. We'll see another one missing the zone.
We mentioned Olivia Kennedy for the Bearcats in the circle has had some struggles against Maine. Ava Zettelmoyer kind of likewise with the Black Bears. 10 1/3 innings pitched versus Binghamton this season. 17 hits scattered across those innings. 11 runs, 4 walks, 3 strikeouts. So doing a good job locating against the Bearcats, but when you attack the strike zone, you're liable to give up a lot of hits and runs to America East's most dangerous lineup by far.
Count 3-0. 3 missing the zone for Zettelmoyer. And that one misses. 4 straight wide ones. Back-to-back base runners, too. Still, the Bearcats awaiting their first hit, but they'll take this all day. Now the always dangerous Emma Lawson stepping up to the dish for the first time.
All 4 of the hitters for Binghamton that you have seen so far are all-conference first-teamers.
Yeah. Just shows you how prolific this team can be. Haven't been able to swing the bat much so far as another one misses. 5 straight missing the zone by Zettelmoyer. And not that the Game 1 atmosphere wasn't great, but it feels like more of a buzz here today in Game number 2 as the Bearcat fans traveling very well. And, of course, the host team, the Maine Black Bears, supported very well on finals week on campus. Some students might have finished their last final for the year and semester and decided to come down to watch a great softball matchup. This one finds the zone, and Lawson now working with a 1-1 count.
Lawson, such a mature, wise beyond her years presence in this Binghamton lineup. Recorded a speech for the spring athletics banquet at Binghamton University and made a lot of very mature points. And coming up on her final game after an 18-year-long softball career through, secondary school, now up here. Her personal growth just palpable, and she spoke a lot about the discipline, sacrifices, and the support system for athletes available at Binghamton University, and really just had a lot to say. She said the most meaningful takeaway from a long softball career like that aren't your statistics or your portfolio, but the memories and the relationships you forge along the way. Very mature.
And Lawson's name, one I definitely recall and remember from 2 years ago when Maine last hosted this tournament. She was so good, ultimately falling short in that championship matchup. But her team made a nice run that season, hoping to make another run of significance here this year. As this one hits the top of the stands. And a 4-legged friend almost grabbing that one out of the midair. But we'll keep with the full count with 1 down in the bottom of the first inning. And Maine trying to do what Binghamton did in the top half of the frame, keep a frisky offense away from scoring. This one fouled back to the backstop again.
Something that makes not only the top 4 hitters in this lineup, but up and down the Bearcats lineup, something that makes them all so dangerous and effective is their tenacity at the plate. When they get into 2-strike counts, they see a pitcher's whole arsenal by fouling off pitches, by taking good pitches, by working deeper and deeper and tiring out the pitcher in the circle.
This one popped up. Looks to be roughly playable. We'll see if a Black Bear can get there in time, and neither of the trio can get into the vicinity of that one because it was basically in a spot that neither the third baseman, shortstop, or left fielder could get to.
Certainly an awkward place for that foul pop to go, but you heard a little awe amongst the Maine fans, and you got to get every out that you can possibly get against the Binghamton Bearcats because they are just so lethal.
You can see Robles, Adams, number 7, And also Helms coming in on this one. This one a high fly ball. Not really deep. Looks to be playable and will be for Inman. Will then run this ball back in towards the infield. No advancement by the runners. And Lawson is retired for a big second out.
Take another look. She just got underneath it. Was poised to do some damage there on the payoff pitch. Maybe tried to do a little too much. Swung out of her shoes and pops out to center harmlessly.
First pitch swinging. This one sent a pretty deep way, but shy of the warning track, and the Black Bears will retire the Bearcats in the bottom of the first inning. Well, both teams had some chances in the first. Neither able to score. We head to the second inning of the America East Softball Championships on ESPN+.
As the leading provider of quality dental coverage for Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont.
The America East Softball Championship is presented by Jersey Mike's, a proud supporter of the America East women's sports. Jersey Mike's, a sub above.
Leading off the second inning for the Black Bears.
Top of the second inning, scoreless through one frame. As the Black Bears will send up their 5, 6, and 7 hitters. Robles, Hand, and Ree due up for the Black Bears.
Eviana Robles, just a sophomore. The statistical profile right now, not going to blow you out of the water, but this year she's done such a great job to blossom into the everyday starting shortstop for Maine. 46 starts.
This one bouncing the turf, gets away from Allen, but no harm, no foul with no runners on. Again, Kennedy still struggling with hitting the zone consistently now through 1+ innings.
And it's safe to assume that Kennedy will dial in the command throughout the outing. The Black Bears want to capitalize now.
Check swing, but doesn't matter. Called strike here over the heart of the plate. Count now 2-1. Another one bouncing in the turf. Favorable hitters count for Robles.
You know, Maine's lineup has been anemic at times this season, but one thing that they definitively do better than any of their foes in the America East is take walks. They lead the conference in batting walks by a large margin.
And another one misses. And speaking of the walk, Maine gets a free pass right there. First walk handed out to the Black Bears so far today, and they'll have this leadoff runner on for the second consecutive inning.
Last time we saw a hotline drive to first base, and Emma Lawson put it away, touched the bag for a quick double play, so Madison Hand wants to keep the line moving instead.
And she'll take the first one, a little high and outside. 179 batting average for Maddie Hand. 3 home runs, however, and 17 runs batted in. Has some pop in that bat. Swing and a miss, though. That pitch blown past Hand. Count even at 1-1 as the wind blows across the field from the left side. Another one bouncing the turf, and a great job by Allen keeping it in front of her. No advancement by the runner at first base in Robles.
Just stay patient if you're Maine. Wait for Olivia Kennedy to feed you one that you like. No need to rush in the early goings.
This one bounced over, picked up, and another bobble. Well, the second straight error committed already by the Bearcats in the field. And this is a developing issue for Binghamton so far.
We've seen the Bearcats be snake-bitten in their last two outings against the Black Bears as Maine stole games 2 and 3 of their final 3-game set up here. And 2 errors by Minickbach at shortstop. Are we in an alternate universe right now, Brian? She usually is so solid at that position. And back-to-back misplays for her is just such an alien concept.
Yeah, the senior captain normally very sure-gloved. Minickbach having a little bit of struggles out there. Abby Ree now stepping to the plate. Has not come back to bite the Bearcats yet. But Maine seemingly always a team that dials it up in May. Is this one a called strike on a late call from our home plate umpire?
Here's a little tidbit for you. Abby Ree at the plate made 22 appearances this season as a pinch hitter or a pinch runner. This is her first start, the first game of the America East tournament. So Coach Stiles is like, it's crunch time, here you go.
Sometimes you just get a hunch or a feeling as a coach, and you see the results too, and especially in those pinch hit or pinch run roles. And you say, well, maybe we can catch lightning in a bottle. And we'll see if it pays dividends for the University of Maine. Another called strike.
Ree 0 for 3 at the plate in the regular season. 3 for 3 on the base paths as a runner. And has come around to score 5 times.
This one missing. One of the things I love about Allen as a catcher, too, is the art of framing a pitch. Definitely not lost on her. That one didn't get a chance to, but the one prior framed perfectly in the zone. Not that it wasn't a strike, but just even looks more appealing. This one off the end of the bat. Picked up cleanly. First out, not the second. Ree hustling down the first baseline, beats the throw. Bang, bang play over at first base. But Kopech doing a great job getting that one over, and I bet they're going to review this one.
I saw Jess Bump, head coach of the Bearcats, signal pretty much immediately. To the naked eye for me, I thought that was probably a double play.
I mean, it was perfectly executed. Kopech threw it over to Minick-Bach, who turned that one wonderfully. The throw was with a crisp pace as well. So our umpiring crew will look things over, or at least have a conversation right now, before going back into the video booth. It's always, and we'll look at the replay here.
What a turn by Kopech, and then the finish by Minick-Bach, keeping her head cool. Oh, here we go. And that should be an out.
That's tough to tell, too, because you can't see where the foot, well, I guess it might be a little up once you see it pulled back a little bit. Looks like it still might be up above the bag, so. Also, I have to keep in mind that the call on the field right now is safe at first base.
Going to need to see conclusive video evidence to overturn it, and our umpire over there, very respectable job. That is a bang, bang play, and he had to turn as he was also calling the out at second base. He had to turn and catch the play at first, so not always one you're going to get 100% of the time as a human being, but fortunately we have good static camera angles here at the Labatt Softball Complex, and always important to note on the broadcast that the umpires are working with a different set of video angles than are at our disposal, so they might be seeing things we're not seeing, and we might be seeing things that they do not have an angle of, so something to keep in mind going forward.
Well, we'll wait and see what happens here. This is going to be a big decision, however. So we'll see the replay once more. You just see the defensive excellence by the middle infielders for the Bearcats. And again, bang, bang play. Depending on where that foot is in relation to the bag. Looks like the throw may have beaten the foot falling down on the right side of that first base bag. But if the call stands, or if there's not conclusive evidence to overturn it, it keeps the Maine second inning going at a very good pace. Because there'd be one down with runners at the corners. The Black Bears would be threatening with a runner at third base as well. Be the case no matter what, but at least with 2 more outs to work with is the situation what they have right now, and it would be down to their final out if this call gets overturned.
Akira Kopech, who scooped up the ball and started that turn on the double play. As a freshman last season, the only Bearcat to start in all 47 Binghamton games. So such durability, dependability, and determination from someone who was only a freshman. Now, as a sophomore, she's continued her impact offensively and defensively for the Bearcats. And also, Kopech had some national team experience. This summer, she made the 35-player training camp roster for USA's national women's baseball team, actually. So a little bit of a skill set transfer. Kopech playing on a different size of diamond, so did not make the final 20-player roster, but you can see those defensive skills. She has a cannon for an arm at second base because she's accustomed to those different dimensions.
Yeah, it's one of those skills that can translate really well, too. Back and forth between softball and baseball. They're still deliberating. It's this umpiring crew. And we appreciate you joining us for the Northeast Delta Dental American Softball Championship on ESPN+. So we had a great first game. It was back and forth and a pitcher's duel for the first half of the contest between UAlbany and UMass Lowell. And then the Riverhawks erupted for a huge 5th inning in which they scored 6 runs, then tallied on a single run into the 6th and 7th inning to walk away with a 8-1 victory. And now we await to see who will be the opponent for the number 1 seeded Bryant Bulldogs. If Maine wins, they'll be taking on Bryant in the very next game. If Binghamton wins, UMass Lowell will be taking on the Bryant Bulldogs in the 3rd and final game of the day. Well, our umpiring crew is back out. They'll have another brief conversation here, and then we'll get play back underway after we find out what they have determined. I can't read lips, and I don't know if Jonah does it or not.
Oh, you know, I'm an amateur. I try sometimes, but I don't always come to the right conclusions.
So they will reverse the call. It is overturned, and we will have 2 down with the runner at third base after the double play is completed.
And that's the right call. Very high-stakes moment early in this game, and a beautifully executed twin killing from Kopech to Minnickbach over to Lawson at first base. And real credit to our umpiring crew today, just showing great due diligence and the thoroughness to go in and make sure they get the right call made in a tournament game.
And Coach Jess Bump excellently called and motioned for. So now there's 2 down after the 4-6-3 double play is now confirmed in the scorebook. And it's up to Maggie Helms, the number 8 hitter playing left field for the Black Bears in her first plate appearance. Robles still at third base. She'll now work with a 0-1 count. This one hit pretty high into right field. Could be in a dangerous spot, and it is. The Black Bears will take the 1-0 lead, trying to stretch it out to 2, and it works for Maggie Helms and the Black Bears. An early 1-0 advantage in the second.
A beautiful little blooper off the bat of Helms. Off the end of the bat, perhaps, skied it, and it sliced golf ball style, dropped down on the fairway, so to speak, and in fair territory, Helms, legs out a double. Great work. RBI 2-bagger, maybe not in the most traditional sense, but gets the job done, and a runner in scoring position for Poole.
It's not the hardest hit ball you'll see all week. This one bouncing the turf, gets away from Allen, advancing on the play to third base. The throw's going to be late. It's going to be Helms. It's now Maine even closer to getting their second run of the contest. The Poole at the point for her first plate appearance. The catcher hitting 185 on the season. This one off the glove of Lawson. See if she gets there in time. Lays out, stretches, and gets it. A defensive stalwart is Emma Lawson, who makes two incredible plays in the early stages of this one. But Maine jumps out on top early, and after 1.5 complete, they lead this one 1-0 in the Northeast Delta Dental American Softball Championship on ESPN+. American Softball Championship is presented by Service Credit Union, the official credit union of the America East. It's also presented by Northeast Delta Dental, proud partner of the America East, and V-Venue, the official ticketing partner of the America East. Bottom of the second inning, Binghamton up at the plate. It'll be 6, 7, and 8 hitters, and Payne, Wolf, and Kopech due up for the Bearcats, trailing in this one 1-0. I think a lot of fans would be maybe not surprised by Maine on top, but this early on, Life Beers seemingly have that magic, that special sauce, or whatever the whatever the Space Jam stuff was back in the day.
One thing consistent about the Black Bears, they always play hard-nosed softball come tournament time, no matter how the pundits think they're going to do.
This one bouncing the turf will be 2-1 here versus Lauren Payne.
These two teams have a wealth of softball history, including 7 previous America East softball tournament meetings. The Black Bears have the edge in the all-time tournament series, 4-3.
Another accolade garnerer yesterday was Lauren Payne, all-conference, all-rookie selection. And I mentioned it at the broadcast yesterday in the early stages in game number 1 between UAlbany and UMass Lowell, but so much incredible first-year talent and second-year talent in this conference. Swing and a miss on the 3-1. Just getting a piece of it was Payne.
Lauren Payne, one of 7 qualified Bearcats, hitting over 300. Doesn't necessarily mash in the power category, but such good fundamental swinging ability and great vision.
This one will find its way in and be the first base hit for the Bearcats of the contest. Quickly fielded and thrown back into the infield by Maggie Helms, but a leadoff single by Payne to get things going in the second.
Nice rip. We were talking about her vision and her ability to just put bat to ball, and just right on display there. Good leadoff base knock, and 7, 8, 9 due up for Binghamton, but still so very dangerous all throughout this lineup. And Ava Zettelmoyer's mission now is going to be get the outs, strike while the iron is hot immediately. You do not want to turn it back to the top of the Binghamton lineup with runners on, considering all 4 of the first Bearcat hitters made the America East first team.
Well, Constantine stepping up to the plate for the Yorktown Heights, New York native. 10th appearance on the season. A little extra speed on the base pass. The Bearcats look to knot this game back up and take the lead in the second.
Now running at first base for Binghamton, number 24, Charlotte Constantine. And now batting the left fielder.
Here's Megan Wolf, left fielder. Hitting 7th for the Bearcats here in the batting order. Shows the bunt. It's a beauty. Could be fielded cleanly. Fired over Larkin. To Guerrera covering from second base over at first. So the sacrifice goes down 3-4. And more importantly, Constantine moves up into scoring position into second base.
Textbook sacrifice bunt. Megan Wolf gave herself a chance to get on, too, hustling up that first base line, but good wheel play by the Black Bears. They get Guerrera cycling over to cover first base while the pitcher and first baseman crashed in on the bunt. And some good fundamental defense to secure the out. However, good small ball work by Jess Bump's Binghamton Bearcats. There's now a runner in scoring position with just one away.
Akira Kopech sees the first pitch miss. Kopech, the junior on the roster from Pennsylvania. 40th appearance on the season. Bearcat fan base not super happy with the call of a strike on that one to even the count. Popped up, playable. Inman ranges in, and it was so shallow that Constantine unable to move and advance on the catch.
Great work by Zettelmoyer and the Maine defense to work a harmless out in that situation. I know you're dealing with the 8-hitter, but you can't feed her anything too simple because Kopech makes great contact. Rebecca Minichbach, one of the 7 qualified Bearcats hitting above 300.
Gets that one high and tight, does Minichbach.
They have her in that 9 spot, but such a secret weapon. Great pop at the bottom of the order, and typically very sound defensively too. However, 2 errors already under her belt in the early going.
Usually the number 9 spot was reserved back in the day for your worst hitter, but now it's almost like a second leadoff hitter where you want to put one of your best on-base percentage batters with speed. That's definitely what Coach Jess Bump and company definitely have with Minichbach. Runner and Constantine still at second base. 2 down and a 2-1 count now to the Bearcat shortstop. Slight breeze from left field. A 1-hop over to second base. No problem for Guerrera. And the Black Bears end the second defensively. 2 complete from Orono. It's Maine 1, Binghamton nothing on the Northeast Delta Dental American Softball Championship on ESPN+. Welcome back to the Pierre and Catherine Labatt Softball Complex at the University of Maine in Orono. It's the Northeast Delta Dental American Softball Championship. Brian Stackwell alongside Jonas Smith. Great production team back across the way. Ryan Leffler and Marissa Tripp as well. Among the countless others in the University of Maine athletic staff. Part of our production staff doing a great job, too, behind the scenes and doing an excellent job giving you all the sights and sounds. Back to the top of the order for the Black Bears. Guerrera, Larkin, and Adams due up for Maine in the 1, 2, 3 spots of the batting order. Guerrera reached base by way of an error in the first, and this one's going to be off the glove of Corey. She gathers fires. Oh, what a cannon from the hot corner.
When you think about Rachel Carey, you think of the batting average close to 500. You think of the OPS close to 1,400. What you also need to keep in mind is the absolute bazooka strapped to the right side of her body. Carey knocks that ball down, keeps it in front of her, and delivers it across the diamond for a Gold Glove play. The player of the year certainly has at least 4 tools at her disposal at any time out there on the diamond.
Is there a 6th tool potentially that she could have? She possesses a lot of athletic ability that goes beyond just the softball field. Would have been tough to give her an error on that play anyways, just because of how hot that shot was down the line. But
Scorcher.
At least avoided the potential of a 3rd error by the Bearcats. Minnick Bach already committing 2 in the first 2 innings. And more importantly, the Black Bears do not have their leadoff runner on base for the first time. Now a 2-1 count as Kennedy's still struggling to get ahead of these hitters for the Black Bears.
Well, that was a beauty of a drop ball there, and a great job to sneak it past Kaylin Larkin. If you hang one in that spot, she can make her pay. But
Larkin again, a heat-seeking missile. This time does not get into the glove of Emma Lawson for a double play, and instead has a 1-hop to Dodig and a 1-out single for Kaylin Larkin.
Good thinking at the plate by Larkin. You know Kennedy came in with the breaking stuff, tried to sneak it by you, did so very well on 2-0, and you think she's going to go back to the bread and butter on 2-1, something fast, something up in the zone, and lo and behold, Kaylin Larkin's thought process comes to fruition there.
Now here's Neve Adams taking a pitch on the outside half of the plate. Had a double off the wall last time up at the plate. Thought about that one. That one's just a little too low. Again, Adams hailing from Australia. How many other Division I athletes have to traverse the globe like Adams does to play in Orono, Maine? This one grounded and looks like it got a piece of her leg as she'll walk that one off. Different climates, I'd say, too, from country of Australia compared to the northeast part of the United States. Happy to be a Black Bear and happy to be in the position with her team leading 1-0 through 2 frames. One and 2 count now for Olivia Kennedy. Trying to bear down and get her 2nd strikeout of the contest. And instead, that one's going to be hit towards the right side in a little dance move there for the on-deck batter, Kira Inman.
Careful with the friendly fire, Neve Adams. You can't afford to lose a valuable teammate at this stage in the season.
So we'll do the 1-2 pitch once more. And that one's going to bounce in the turf. Great job again by Allen to keep that ball in front. The 2-2 pitch upcoming. That will miss outside. Binghamton not a horrible team ERA, but not necessarily the best in the conference by any means. Currently sitting at 6.38. In comparison, the Black Bears as a team have a 5.93. The teams against Maine sporting a 3.73 earned run average. This one off the end of the bat, and it's going to find its spot in front of the left fielder, Wolf. And the Black Bears getting something cooking with one out in the third now with back-to-back singles.
Just an outstanding display of patience by Neve Adams. I mean, she was down 2 strikes early in that at-bat. You saw her just poke the bat head out there, flare that one into left center. Good solid base hit. Perhaps the hit parade is underway here. What does Kira Inman have to say about that?
Last time up, she struck out looking to end the first. Trying to avoid that. Again, Allen doing a great job trying to pull that one and frame it into the zone, but just a little too wide.
57 pitches for Kennedy. 29 strikes.
From our vantage point, it's hard to see the Binghamton bullpen as, beautiful pitch. Has him been chasing and whiffing on that one. Black Bears bullpen, of course, empty with no action. You have to imagine in a situation like this where Binghamton win would be so vital to their chances. This one a pop-up. Shallow right field. Ranging back, getting that into her glove is going to be Kopech, but advancing on the play from second to third base is going to be Larkin.
Heady base running play by Larkin this time. Not too much behind that swing, but great play by Kopech to range out and put it away. However, maybe you want to default to your outfielder there. Maybe give her a chance to gun down Larkin advancing to third.
I think the problem was Dodig. I don't think was able to get there in time.
Good point. You definitely want to make the out first and foremost.
Well, now the Black Bears with the runners on the corners. A 1-0 lead. As the 5 seed in this situation, can't afford to leave any runs on the table. Vienna Robles up at the plate. See that one go low. Walked last time. Later scoring the only Maine run. Two-0 pitch. That one's going to be grounded off her leg. Second time a Black Bear batter has fouled it off themselves.
And the runner, Neve Adams, was off with the pitch. Not sure if we'll see Alyssa Allen gun down to second if she decides to run again. Not likely, just considering what's at stake with a runner just 60 feet away from home plate. However, Alyssa Allen, very confident, very skilled behind the plate. We'll see what happens.
That time she does not take off, but an aggressive secondary lead, and now a favorable hitter's count for Robles. The 3-1 pitch from Kennedy. Peppers the zone. The throw is down, and the Black Bears are going to run into the third and final out. A base running blunder ends the top of the third as we head to the home half of the third inning when we return to the Northeast Delta Dental American Softball Championship.
At Northeast Delta Dental, we love to see people smile. And as the leading provider of quality dental coverage for Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont, we're committed to helping entire communities smile. Whether it's through education, supporting our veterans, or giving and volunteering, we're helping to make our communities even stronger. Learn more about Northeast Delta Dental at nedelta.com. We think you'll find a lot to smile about.
Ground yourself in this moment. What do you smell? What do you hear? That's the sound of a juicy steak with 10 essential nutrients like protein, iron, and B vitamins to support your wellness journey. Now that's my kind of aromatherapy. The nutrition you need, the balance you crave. Together, we bring more. Beef.
At Jersey Mike's, they slice your order fresh right in front of you. And let me tell you, watching that can send a rush of emotions through a person. Excitement, baby-like wonder, anticipatory chewing, nervous pacing, happy claps, and finally, jealousy, because that's this guy's sub. I should order one. Good idea.
Get the Boardwalk Bundle, a number 2 sub, chips and a drink for $10.99. Available for a limited time.
It's a Jersey Mike's thing. A sub above.
Welcome back to the Northeast Delta Dental American Softball Championship. Maine Binghamton, 5 versus 2. Maine on top 1-0.
Well, Brian, I'm not 100% sure what's going on. I think the umpiring crew made an announcement up to the press box right before we returned from our break that they were going to be challenging the previous play that ended the last half inning where Neve Adams was tagged out between first and second. The Black Bears had runners on the corners. It looked like Adams wanted to get caught up between the base paths and allow Larkin to streak home from third. However, she went a little too far, stumbled. It looked like maybe she twisted her knee awkwardly and was tagged out. However, maybe the tag missed. Maybe Adams was able to sneak in there. And I think that's what the umpiring crew are looking at currently.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. Coach Stiles, though, went out there, and Maine really didn't warm up at all. As you can see here, wasn't anticipating, you think, the throw down.
Ooh, that right there did not look comfortable.
She goes down. It looks like the tag's applied.
That looks pretty cut and dry. I'm not sure what the review is. They did say that Maine was challenging something, as Neve Adams still favoring that left knee and appears to really still be struggling with some pain, and not a resource that Maine can afford to lose in a single elimination scenario. Let's see the announcement.
So the Black Bears lose that challenge and just have one remaining. And an obstruction inquiry was the review made.
No errors and 1 runner left on base.
Yeah, nothing doing there. I mean, I'm not sure exactly what the indication would have been there that there was going to be obstruction. I mean, the throw was at a strange angle. It definitely brought the middle infielder over. Watch this. Oh, man. I mean, she has the ball in the hand.
Well, the problem is she stopped short, too, and the fielder has to be able to make the play as well. So a good opportunity for Maine to see if maybe they could get something through, but alas, a lost challenge. And now we go back to the top of the order for the Bearcats, trailing 1-0 through 2.5 complete. Rachel Carey, who was, I think, frustrated. 1 pitch, 1 swing, pop up on the first base side foul, and it was an out caught by Kaylin Larkin.
Maine missed a major opportunity to give themselves some cushion in the last half inning. Very little room for error against a team so dangerous as the Bearcats, especially top of the order, starting off with the Conference Player of the Year, who hits like no one else.
This one missing inside as having to jolt back is Carey. It's a dangerous hitter to have hitting number 1 in your batting order. And then to follow it up like a player like Allen right afterwards. Grounded towards the shortstop. Picked up. Robles fires over in time. So 2 at-bats, 2 outs for Rachel Carey, the player of the year in the conference.
And a great delivery by Zettelmoyer, too, to force Carey to roll over it.
The catcher, Alyssa Allen.
Alyssa Allen now stepping up to the plate. She saw 1 pitch in her prior plate appearance, and it was off the side of her body. This will be a called strike on the outside half of the plate. This will be a huge get-through for Ava Zettelmoyer. She can get through this unscathed. A tough part of the lineup you'll see at least 1 more time. You just don't want to see it the 3rd time. That one back into the netting, and I will admit, I jolted back just a tiny bit. So did Jonah that time.
Can't stay stoic for them all. Alyssa Allen, perhaps the most prolific power hitter in the history of the America East, sits tied atop the conference waterline for career big flies at 46.
And she's hoping to leave Orono with 47 in tow. She has the potential. The wind blowing across the diamond from left to right. Should not impact any sort of moonshot, though. Oh, and that one would have been if it was straightened out. Goodness, she gets some pop off the bat, doesn't she?
Certainly. And at just her junior year of eligibility for Allen, should she return to this conference next year, she will blow that home run record out of the water and stand sole atop the history books.
This one will not be a home run, as it is in the ballpark by a good distance and easily playable by Kira Inman. And 2 up, 2 down in the bottom of the third. Well, Zetta Moyer doing an absolutely phenomenal job so far for the Black Bears. 1 out away from 3 clean innings, allowing just 1 base hit by the Bearcats. But still not out of the woods yet. Darian McDonough, who walked back in the first inning, stepping up to the plate.
Another ridiculous Binghamton Bearcat offensive statistic for you. 3 qualified Bearcats have an OPS of over 1,000. McDonough is one of them. They go 1, 2, 3. Carey, Allen, and McDonough, all OPSing over 1,000. And that is just well head and shoulders above average.
Well, we already saw 1 upset, though a minor one, between the 3 and 4 teams. UMass Lowell advancing to the next round. UAlbany also advancing, but now 1 loss away from elimination. It's a called strike, 1 and 2.
Well, let's be honest, Brian. The America East softball tournament in recent years has been probably a little bit chalky.
Yeah.
What is it? The last 6 conference tournaments all secured by the regular season #1 seed. But this is a year where any of the remaining teams have a shot. Maine would have to be a dark horse, but Binghamton and UMass Lowell absolutely, definitely have the chops to upset Bryant. However, the Bulldogs are eager to defend that #1 regular season seed and keep this trend going, knock off the reigning champions, Binghamton, if they manage to advance today.
This one, third base side. Looked like they were going to test the knee of Neve Adams. She seems to be a little bit more loose out there at the hot corner now currently. Moving a lot to try to stay active and stay loose. Zettelmoyer looking into the first base dugout where Maine resides here for this contest. Called strike 3. 1, 2, 3 inning as McDonough goes down by way of the K. And 3 complete from Orono. It's Maine 1, Binghamton nothing on the Northeast Delta Dental American Softball Championship on ESPN+.
Fans' restrooms are located in the building.
How does this partnership you have with the America East reflect the Northeast Delta Dental's broader commitment to the communities that you serve?
Our mission of supporting and hopefully improving the well-being of a community is complex and multifaceted. This partnership checks many boxes, including mental health advocacy, supporting the physical fitness of young athletes, and helping to create a platform for camaraderie at a community event.
Looking ahead, how do you see this partnership evolving and continue to support student athletes in the future?
We've always been grateful and thankful to have the opportunities to partner with organizations that promote the health and well-being of our community. Student athletes learn so many life lessons by their participation in sports. Some of our best employees are employees that participated in team sports. This sponsorship gives us the opportunity to support their success and also spread the message about the role of mental health, oral health, and physical health play in long-term well-being. This is something we are proud to be a part of.
And Tom, one additional question here for you, as you mentioned, a former student athlete. What is one or two aspects, from your job currently where you feel being a student athlete has helped you succeed and find success, at this position or getting to this position?
Great question. So 2 things. One, it taught me how to work well in teams. There's no I in team, and any business that's success has to have an operation where everybody is working in team. And the second thing, it helped me persevere and strive to be successful by working hard. When I interview other successful athletes and business leaders, they all say the most important part of their life has been team sports, but also working hard, outworking the competition.
Well, we appreciate Northeast Delta Dental and their support of the America East Softball Championship. Brian Stackpole, Jonas Smith here in attendance in Orono, here in Catherine Labatt Softball Complex. Second time in 3 years this brand new renovated facility has hosted this championship tournament. Eviana Robles with a leadoff single. Maine has now had a leadoff base runner for 3 out of 4 innings, which is a good sign for them, though only 1 run to show for him on 5 hits.
Madison Hand at the dish here. Has a tendency to get streaky. When she breaks out, it's for power.
And this one will find its way. No, it's robbed. The thievery by Dodig in right field, getting that one at the top of the laces on the glove, and steals that one away from a second consecutive Black Bear knock.
Hand was thinking about sending Robles all the way to third, perhaps even home if that one snuck by Maddie Dodig. She had other plans, got all the way laid out, sacrificed the body, and stole a hit from Madison Hand.
So 1 down now in the top of the 4th inning. And now we see the number 7 hitter, Abby Ree, who grounded into a 4-6-3 double play. Robles still at first base. And this one, a called strike, even the count at 1-1.
Eviana Robles did a great job to lead off the inning with a single. Maine has 5 hits in this one. Not to mention a walk, and they haven't been able to score. 2 errors by Binghamton, too.
Swing and a miss. 1-2 now.
And that inability to plate runs despite the traffic is just ostensibly not sustainable, especially against Binghamton. You got to pick up your pitcher in Ava Zettelmoyer, who's been splendid through 3 innings. Just 1 hit and 1 walk against the conference's most dangerous lineup.
And likely we'll have to go through that top of the order at least once, maybe 2 more times, depending on if Binghamton gets some more base runners on the board. Here's the rock and fire. That one gets away and off the glove of Allen. That's going to advance Robles to second base and now into scoring position for the Black Bears.
Olivia Kennedy has allowed the Black Bears to set the table repeatedly. However, she's just been so stoic with runners on. 2 of 9 are the Black Bears against Olivia Kennedy with runners aboard, and just that 1 RBI.
3-2 pitch, and that one's just going to miss. Tough pitch not to swing at, but Abby Ree holds the bat near her shoulder and draws the walk.
assertive take by Abby Ree. And she was like, I'm aboard now. Quickly and decisively out of that box to set up Maggie Helms, who has today's RBI.
An RBI single back in the second. We'll see that one go high and wide. The Black Bears already with one base hit, robbed of a second, now a walk, just one down and 2 runners on. Outfielders playing fairly straight up versus, and that's going to be a base knock. Down and towards the corner. It's knocked away by Wolf. Maine's going to send the runner around, and they're going to score with ease as Ree comes in all the way from first base. And another RBI base hit for the number 8 hitter, Maggie Helms, who now has 3 runs batted in.
Maggie Helms, brick by brick, putting together so far the game of her life. 2 doubles. Blooped one for an RBI in the second inning, and now ropes this one up the third base line here in the top of the fourth, plating 2 more, and a 3-0 lead just about halfway through the scheduled 7 here today, Brian, for the University of Maine, and they're looking to add.
Poole off the end of the bat. Going back is McDonough. Getting at the track and tagging up, though, on the play is going to be Helms, who will now be at third base. So Maine, even while recording outs, are being advantageous. Poole gave that one a ride, and you thought maybe it had enough to get all the way to the fence, but alas, just a little short.
Definitely some punch behind it from Poole, and a congregation of the umpiring crew now. And now do they think Maggie Helms left second base early?
I believe that was the case. Because initially, the umpire was waving that nope, left in time. But I think that Coach Jess Bump will want to have this one checked out.
And if they decide to overturn this into an out, that's going to be a crippling mishap on the base paths. Again, you're up 3-0 early. Feels like some good cushion, but against Binghamton, they can score 3 runs in an inning in their sleep. And you just need every single opportunity that you can get to score runs. And if Maggie Helms left second base early on that tag up, that's an error that you cannot afford to have transpire in a situation where you're looking to put your foot on the gas and score more.
The other factor is, too, the longer this game goes, the more it's going to get into that sort of rain conditions. So we will review for the 3rd time already in this middle stages of the 7-inning affair. As Binghamton going to challenge that they thought the runner and Helms left a tad bit early. Again, the weather forecast is saying in the afternoon that we're going to see some rainy weather. First game was originally scheduled to start at 11 a.m., got moved up to 10. This game just 15 minutes behind what was anticipated. So we'll see here whether or not they are able to overturn this call, or it gets confirmed, or whatever have you. But 3rd review so far of this contest. And the rain in the forecast, just pulled it up, is definitely looming in the west.
Take another look. This will be decisive if we can get them both in frame. Not from that angle. Good track of the catch, but not possible to get both in the frame that time. And, oh, man, I don't think we have a way to split screen the replays. But we would definitely need to synchronize 2 angles to get a decisive look at this one. And remember, the umpires are working with different angles than we have either way. So they've come to their conclusion. Here it comes.
Yeah, I'm glad that they came back and pretty quickly. We'll have a brief discussion before letting us know. As you can see here, they're talking things over briefly. Fans starting to get a little bit restless with some of the breaks in the action. And we'll get the announcement of the results of the review. So the review confirms the call on the field.
Each team with one challenge remaining in this game. And let's think about that language real quick, Brian. That's a confirmation of the call. It does not just stand. So they looked at the video angles and determined that the video evidence was convincingly in favor of the original call on the field. There was no ambiguity.
Well, now we'll see what Maine can do. Top of the order. Called first strike to Guerrera. Reached base one time by way of an error by Minichbach. This pitch missing outside.
Corner infielders playing in, middle infield playing out on the green. Outfield relatively straight up here against Guerrera.
Off the end of the bat. Going over and grabbing that one is Kopech over to first base, and the inning is over. Maine does play 2 more runs, leads this one after 3.5 complete by a score of 3-0 over the Binghamton Bearcats in the Northeast Delta Dental American Softball Championship on ESPN+. Welcome back to Orono, and a 4-legged friend watching. Not a Bearcat, but a dog in attendance, clad in Binghamton gear. That was the dog that almost made that catch in the stands earlier today. First pitch swinging, rifled it into left field, and that's going to be a base hit. And Binghamton hoping that can be a harbinger of good things to come as Emma Lawson gets things going for the Bearcats.
Music to my ears off the bat, Brian. Such a sweet single into left field. And Lawson, one of these amazing fundamental Bearcat hitters. And looks like we'll be getting a pinch runner situation. Jeff Bump playing a little bit of chess out here.
Well, Lawson's been doing an excellent job defensively at first base, too, but now contributing offensively as the cleanup hitter. And, yeah, we will have another pinch runner for the Bearcats. As Maddie Dodig now stepping to the plate, flew out to left field her first at-bat.
Amelia Pedezwa pinch running at first base. She made some impacts in the series here against Maine, stealing a couple bags, capitalizing on a wild pitch, and coming around to scoring a big spot during one of those games. Taking a look at Pedezwa's season stolen base numbers, she's 5 of 7, pretty solid.
Bearcats trailing by 3 runs in the bottom of the 4th. First pitch called strike on the outside half. Bearcat fans not pleased with some of these calls here today. But again, much like game 1, a consistent strike zone. This one missing the zone. Deswa definitely dancing in the secondary lead. She's giving Morgan Poole some key watchful eye. That one underneath the glove of Larkin. Goes all the way into right field. No more advancement than just second base for the pinch runner. But back-to-back base hits now, and the Bearcats brewing something in the bottom of the fourth.
Yeah, listen, we know this team can do this. Brick by brick, they will build a mansion of runs. Whether it's death by 1,000 cuts, single after single after walk after walk after single, or whether they do it all in one blast, Binghamton will always find a way to strike back offensively. You're almost never going to hold them scoreless for an entire 7 innings.
Well, visiting the circle for the Black Bears here as they want to go over some details.
Quick note on the situational hitting. Thus far, the Bearcats are 1 of 5 with runners on against Ava Zettelmoyer, who's just been brilliant making a start here. Typically a relief weapon for the Black Bears, but she's emerged as one of their more solid options. And I don't think it was on anyone's bingo card that she would start game 1 of the tournament the way that things have gone this season with who's been drawing the starts. But Coach Stiles decides this is who we feel most confident in. And so far it's been paying off, but some turbulence here against a dangerous hitter.
Now she'll have to face Lauren Payne, who already has a single in the contest. One of the 3 Bearcats to get a base hit so far today, and the other 2 just proceeded. Count 0-1. This one missing outside to even the count. Bedezwa second base. Dodig at first. Lauren Payne at the plate right now is the all-rookie selection, trying to do some damage and get the first run on the board for the Bearcats.
Zettelmoyer got a friendly call on the outer half to start the plate appearance, and she's kind of trying to push the boundary in that spot, see where can I place it while still getting that called strike.
2-1, missing outside. Very favorable count now for Payne. Every base runner that comes up to the plate, or reaches base, I should say, does get the top of the order closer and closer to reemerging for a 3rd time, and then potentially for a 4th time. As this one will miss, and a 5-pitch walk will load the bases. Still no one out in the bottom of the 4th inning.
Just the second base on balls issued today by Zettelmoyer, as she's been pretty confident with the command, but here we go. Binghamton, major threat. So it's going to have to be a delicate dance for Zettelmoyer. Can't do anything right down the pipe, but also can't be too fine. There's nowhere to put her.
Infield is in, including the middle infield, which was creeping up closer than the actual corner infield spots in relation to the line towards the base paths. As Wolf, keeping the bat pretty straight back, sees this one be a called strike, and the Bearcat fans incensed down below. They're already displeased on a lot of the calls in the earlier parts of this inning, though it's gone their way to the tune of 3 straight base runners. That a called strike, 1-2.
And you know what you're working with now if you're Megan Wolf. You know which spot Zettelmoyer is going to attack. Doesn't matter how riled up the fans get here. It's 1-2.
They thought she checked her swing. I don't know why you would appeal to the third base side on a check swing like that.
Yeah. Well, the other umpire wasn't in a great spot.
No.
Got to check somewhere, I guess.
Well, the 2-2. Grounded weakly down third base side, but foul. First real adversity that Zettelmoyer has dealt with here in this contest. She's walked around a couple spots with runners on the base paths, but never in a situation with the bases loaded. Another one misses, and no place to put Megan Wolf with now a full count. This is quite possibly one of the biggest pitches so far of this contest. A high fly ball, ranging back towards the track, and it's going to be off the glove of Helms. 2 runs will score as a nice piece of hitting there from Megan Wolf out of the 7th spot. Gets 2 back, and now the Bearcats trail by just 1 in the bottom of the 4th.
The hit parade is in full march. Watch this. Deep fly. Helms tried to track it down. Maybe didn't get the first step that she wanted. Tips off the glove. Gonna go as a hit. That's a long single. Weird situation is every single Bearcat had to stay put in case Helms was able to make a spectacular catch. Not to be this time, though, so fortunate for the Black Bears that was in doubt and only 2 runs come across for Binghamton. Pretty unfortunate, meanwhile, for Megan Wolf, who put a real charge into that one, only comes away with a 2 RBI single instead of a bases-clearing extra base hit. That'll do it for Zettelmoyer. Valiant effort, but a change has to be made with nobody out and 2 runners still on.
Well, the details on the new pitcher for you when we return on the Northeast Delta Dental American Softball Championship when we come back on ESPN+. New pitcher for the Black Bears, Allison Reith, all-academic selection back yesterday. Sporting a 6-15 record with a 5.46 ERA. She'll look to try to get out of this jam. Still no one out in the bottom of the 4th inning. Maine with the narrowest of advantages of just 1 run. First pitch, called a ball. Wind starting to pick up across the diamond. This one also missing, 2-0. I think we have a pinch hitter too. Just trying to confirm the number. Kopech wears 4, and it's definitely not Kopech out there. Another one misses for Reith, who has struggled with the aim so far.
I think it'll be Sammy Levine.
Yeah. Sammy Levine, the junior.
Bringing in a righty to face Reith.
Finally finds the zone, does Reith. This is an offense with Binghamton that can get a game out of hand very quickly, even while trailing by 3 runs. They can put you down by 4 runs in the same inning. This one fouled off the bag of Levine.
Allison Reith made 4 appearances against Binghamton this past season that we are currently in. I don't know why I said past season. 10 total innings pitched against the Bearcats, scattered 15 hits and 7 walks for 6 earned runs, 7 strikeouts in that span. However, most of the damage came on March 29th.
This one grounded down the right side, picked up. And the throw to second base is going to get away from Robles. A run will score to tie the game, and now the runners are both in second and third, both in scoring position after the throwing error by Guerrera.
Francesca Guerrera, so reliable at second all season long, and that's just a tough time for a catastrophic error. The throw just not collectible for Robles as it went in a tough spot there, and another run will score. You can't find the first out of the inning. 2 more in scoring position, and you are going full bore toward that top of the order. Again, still with nobody out in this inning. Seems like a major, major structural collapse here for Maine's pitching and defense in the bottom of the 4th after they took a 3-0 lead.
Yeah, the problem is, too, as you alluded to, Jonah, the top of the order is coming up and is on deck in the form of Rachel Carey. Levine is at second base. Wolf is at third base. Nick Bach is now at the plate. Kopech will re-enter to run at second base.
And now batting the shortstop, number 10, Rebecca Minnickball.
The bunt down. It's a squeeze, and another run's going to come in. And Minnickbach is going to be safe at first with no throw. Binghamton pouring it on here in the 4th. As Maine needs to talk things over here as they found a 3-run lead and has watched it completely evaporate in the 4th.
How about the Bearcats today? Just totally and entirely fearless in the face of a 3-0 lead. Halfway through this game, you're thinking, wow, we were major favorites in this one. We're down 3-0. We're the top offense in the conference. We have just 1 hit to our name. What on earth do? We don't get scared. We don't depend on the top 4 in our lineup. We let everyone contribute. We keep our heads in it. We work as a unit. And we push until we break the seal. And that's what happened for Binghamton. 4 runs across already in the bottom of the 4th. Still, nobody out. Back to the top of the order for the Player of the Year.
Rachel Carey with a chance to really bury the Black Bears in the 4th. This one low.
Minnickbach into second for free. No throw down from Poole.
The loser of this contest has a date tomorrow morning with UAlbany, who lost to UMass Lowell earlier today. This one back up the middle. It's going to play 2 more as the Americas Player of the Year proves why she got that honor yesterday and doubles up now the Black Bears 6-3.
The middle of the Bearcat lineup set the table. The bottom of the Bearcat lineup tied the game. And the top of the Bearcat lineup is now adding insult to injury. The Bearcats pouring it on. 6th spot in the bottom of the 4th. They tied it up and are now doubling up the Black Bears all in one fell swoop in 1/2 inning. Still nobody out. And Elissa Allen, the most prolific power hitter in the history of America East, at the dish.
And she was looking to go yard, and Neve Adams' injury. Actually, no, I guess that might have hit. I was going to say she was not even close to getting that one, but I also don't know if she made the effort because it was a dead ball.
Maybe her toe got stuck in the turf, too. Always a possibility, just a little stumble with the first step in the hot corner.
A little worried that it was affecting her mobility, but I think she just gave up on the play after it was dead. It'll be a foul ball and an 0-1 count. Pitch low to Allen. The way this inning is going, too, you just imagine that we could be on the precipice of a moonshot by Allen.
That would be the cherry on top, wouldn't it be?
Still no rain at the ballpark yet, though it looks like it's imminent. And another one's going to careen off the side of Allen, who's been plunked twice today.
Man, and you know she's eager to swing. She wants to set that career home run record in her junior year, but at the same time, she's patient, she's selfless, and she understands, hey, if I'm a softball magnet today, if that's how I'm getting aboard, that's okay. On-base percentage still going up. Line keeps moving for my team, and we'll keep things going here. Still nobody out in the inning, and we're on to pitcher number 2 in the frame as the ball gets returned to Zettelmoyer.
Yeah, I was going to say, not pitcher 3, but back to pitcher 1. As we'll just go back to Zettelmoyer, I believe. I don't think there's going to be any other pitchers.
Maine has other arms at their disposal, but I guess this is the direction that Coach Stiles wants to go.
She had pitched very, very well up until this inning, then when she got removed, and then Wraith just unable to get any sort of production in the circle for the Black Bears. So it'll be Zettelmoyer back into the contest. No warm-ups needed.
Yeah, we'll keep it here.
Just a little windmill action there in the circle for Ava, and we're back at it.
I mean, what's running through your head if you're Zettelmoyer?
We get a chance to get some outs. Feel confident. I saw some scout, And I also didn't have to face the 1-2 part of the order. That's also a win, right? And that could have been something that Coach Stiles was trying to avoid, was having Zettelmeyer see Carey and Allen for the third time so far this game. Back-to-back strikes. Zettelmoyer just peppering the zone. On the precipice of the first out of this inning versus Darian McDonough. McDonough 0 for 1 today, a strikeout and a walk. Fouls that one back, will remain 0-2. Ooh, foul ball off the helmet of Morgan Poole. And a hush comes over the crowd here in attendance. Seems to be all right, but went down immediately.
Morgan Poole, a very tenacious catcher, no stranger to getting her bell rung like this, but it doesn't mean that it gets any easier each time. And the obligatory evaluation, but also just a chance to have Poole collect herself. And I've never been a catcher before, Brian, and that's for a good reason, is I never, ever, ever wanted to be subject to one of those ever in my life.
Poole seems to be okay. I caught one game in Little League, and it was one of the worst experiences in my baseball career. 90-degree heat with catcher's gear on. And the pitcher I caught for was a very fast-throwing right-hander, but erratic. So I had to chase a lot of the ones that went to the backstop.
Some of the most courageous, dependable souls play catcher.
Yep, that's why I only did it once.
That was not a shot at you, Brian.
No, I'll be honest.
That was not a shot.
Second baseman more by trade here in the booth. This one fouled off again. Good to see Morgan Poole be okay. Black Bears just desperately yearning for any outs possible as the Bearcats have been relentless in the bottom of the fourth inning. McDonough represents the 9th Bearcat to bat. What a keen hitter's eye to lay off that one.
Well, unless Darian McDonough hits into a triple play, the Bearcats guaranteed to bat around.
And the dangerous Emma Lawson coming up too. Oh, this one bounces away from Poole. And that had a potential to be a 2-base advantage and an advancement, but instead just be 1. So now runners at second and third. Carey at third. Allen at second. McDonough at the plate with a 1-2 count. Off the end of the bat, but foul on the left side. Count 2-2. Number 3 hitter, Darian McDonough. And again, we'll foul that one away. A tough pitch by Zettelmoyer, but unable to get that one past the prolific lefty.
McDonough's so skilled at fighting off pitches. I know I've really sung the praises of pretty much every Bearcat with their ability to work walks, but McDonough just like a swordswoman up there, fends off pitches and just protects the zone so valiantly.
That one bounced in the turf, and now the count will be full. First base open, and Poole still nursing the effects of getting a foul ball off the helmet. Zettelmoyer appears in the first base dugout to get the sign of what is expected for the pitch. Back up the middle. That's going to be at least one more run. They're going to hold Allen at third base, but it'll be another base knock, and still nobody out here in the fourth.
The Binghamton lineup in this inning, up and down the batting order, just like a conveyor belt, slowly but steadily, reliably, step by step, just continuing to churn. And still no end in sight, still nobody out. And a lucky number 7 spot on the board for the Bearcats.
Allen also unable to score, was held up in between second and third base just in case Inman made a circus diving catch.
Abundance of caution there perhaps, but you can afford it at this point.
7-run fourth inning already. And again, we still don't have our first out of the bottom of the fourth. Emma Lawson
For Binghamton, and now batting the first baseman, Emma Lawson.
re-enters. 1 for 2 day. She's had 2 really hard-hit balls in this contest. Flew out to left field in the first. And then earlier this inning, had a single and a run. And this one will bounce in. 1 run will be in. Will they send the runner around? No, they'll keep her at third base in the form of McDonough, but now make it 8 runs on the board here in the fourth.
Well, the inning starts with an Emma Lawson hit. And the latest play, an Emma Lawson hit to right field. So good at roping the ball into the opposite field. And how about an octopus in the bottom of the fourth? Ocho for the Bearcats. Staggering offensive performance. And I don't want to say unexpected or anything because we know what they can do, but still just a shock to the system with the Black Bear fans in attendance.
This one popped up. Looks to be playable for now. Likely can score a run. Tagging and scoring will be McDonough on the sacrifice fly as Dodig gets the job done there. Maine, I think, will happily take an out to give up a run because this has been a house of horrors of a bottom of the fourth inning.
And the level of hype amongst the Bearcats team does not die. Look at her cross the plate there. McDonough fired up, pointing at Dodig. Hey, you sent me home. That's all you.
Now they have a 6-run lead. And they're not done yet. First pitch called strike to Lauren Payne. Reached base twice here today. Run scored, walk, single. That one will miss low. 1-1 now the count. Something to also consider here too, Jonah, is there is a rule in effect that if Binghamton, being the home team in this matchup, scores 2 more runs, they would only need to record 3 outs in the top of the 5th inning to conclude this game a little earlier than anticipated.
And that would be just such a stark reversal of the trends that we saw through the first 3.5 innings of this game. What looked like a budding miracle movie for the Black Bears turned into a horror show. Just a gory display as Binghamton slashed and slashed in the bottom of the fourth so far.
If there's a silver lining for the Black Bears if the score were to hold as such and Binghamton moves on to the next round, the silver lining is Maine, had they won, would have had to immediately turn around and play the Bryant Bulldogs, which, again, on the good side of the bracket, but a difficult endeavor to try to win 2 back-to-back games. The bad news is, though, if you want to also go on that side, again, if everything holds the way it is currently, Maine would be taking on UAlbany, a team that swept them this past weekend. Count is now full to Lauren Payne. Bearcats are just hoping to outslug everyone they see. And the pitching, not bad by Binghamton by any means here today. A swing and a miss. A huge second out there as Zettelmoyer pumped up.
And how about Ava Zettelmoyer all season long? Just so enthusiastic no matter what. She's got a competitor's attitude, and she's always fired up when she gets a punch out, no matter the situation.
Well, now 2 strikeouts for the tally for Zettelmoyer, who's stretching out her arm, and I wonder if she might have some fatigue. We already saw it back in our first contest with UAlbany. It's a long season that begins in February and runs all the way into May. Called strike here to Megan Wolf. Already had a 2-run single back earlier this inning. Inside, but a called strike nonetheless. Megan Wolf will gather herself on the main script on the third base line. Wind dying down a little bit here at the ballpark. Off the end of the bat. Fielded cleanly. Guerrero fires over in time, and the Black Bears finally get out of the inning. But a huge 9-run performance in the bottom of the fourth gives the Bearcats, who were down by 3, now a 6-run lead in the Northeast Delta Dental American Softball Championship on ESPN+.
At Northeast Delta Dental, we love to see people smile. And as the leading provider of quality dental coverage for Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont, we're committed to helping entire communities smile. Whether it's through education, supporting our veterans, or giving and volunteering, we're helping to make our communities even stronger. Learn more about Northeast Delta Dental at nedelta.com. We think you'll find a lot to smile about.
At Service Credit Union, we believe that your life is a story. And like most stories, every chapter brings something different. A new adventure, a new calling, a new hero, and even a new beginning. No matter what page you're on, we'll be with you. Service Credit Union.
At Jersey Mike's, they slice your order fresh right in front of you. And let me tell you, watching that can send a rush of emotions through a person. Excitement, baby-like wonder, anticipatory chewing, nervous pacing, happy claps, and finally, jealousy, because that's this guy's sub. I should order one. Good idea.
Get the Boardwalk Bundle, a #2 sub, chips and a drink for $10.99. Available for a limited time.
It's a Jersey Mike's thing, a sub above.
Oh, what a difference one inning makes. Brian Stackpole, Jonah Smith with you here from Pierre and Catherine Labatt Softball Complex in Orono, Maine. Maine led 3-0 entering the bottom of the 4th inning. Now trail 9-3 entering the top of the 5th inning, and they need some runs in the biggest of ways as they're down to the last 9 outs in this contest. It's amazing. If you're Maine, you were talking about, okay, we just need to play some good couple innings, maybe surrender a run or so. You can allow that. Maybe some flexibility there to have a little lapse, but they did not expect 9 runs. But a leadoff base hit here for the Black Bears. Kaylin Larkin now, her 2nd base knock of the day.
Yeah, no point in falling into despondency if you play for the Black Bears right now. The reality is there's 3 more innings to go. And you saw what Binghamton was able to do without having a single out recorded against them. You don't necessarily on paper have the same offensive chops as the Bearcats, but you can still make a turnaround like that happen. But the only way that's going to be possible is if you keep your head in it.
This one missing low to Neve Adams. Reached base twice so far today. Double and a single. Was thrown out trying to steal second base, in which she looked like it appeared to tweak her knee, but stayed in the contest. This one missing outside. And a good job by Allen keeping that one from going to the backstop. Again, Binghamton wants a clean half inning here. They could still end the game earlier than anticipated in the home half of this inning. Pitch right down the heart of the plate with some pace there. Olivia Kennedy, who's seemingly settled down nicely for the Bearcats. This one missing outside. And it seems like the Riverhawks of UMass Lowell are anticipating that Maine is going to end up losing this game to Binghamton because they are warming up in anticipation of playing the Bryant Bulldogs coming up in the third and final game of the day. And there will be a walk, 5-pitch walk. And Neve Adams trots over. Larkin moves up into scoring position on the play. And here's Kira Inman. Struck out and popped out on a 0-for-2 performance so far today. Quick visit in the circle here. Just with the pitcher, catcher, and the infielders. You can see the different eye black on some of the infielders. Some different looks. I've never seen the upward ones, like shown by Emma Lawson.
I'll tell you what, the Bearcats are fitted up. The eye black you mentioned, Brian, their hair is done excellently. I know that, primary purpose is keep it out of your face, but boy, they are so stylish out there.
It's a big situation for Maine. If they do want to come back in this game, as we've seen last half inning, not impossible to put up a really crooked number in a half inning. Binghamton just put up 9. He needs to take advantage of these situations, however. And Kira Inman currently working with an 0-1 count after fouling that one away to the right side. This one bounces into the turf. Gets away from Allen. Both runners will advance to third and second base, respectively, for Larkin and Adams.
Yeah. Head coach out to the circle. Got to slow things down here because, for Olivia Kennedy, that bottom of the fourth for Binghamton's like being gifted a brand new car for your birthday, and you want to make sure that she doesn't go out and crash it immediately. Not likely to happen. 6-run cushion. Kennedy, a strong and poised pitcher, but nobody out, 2 runners in scoring position, and that one, a wild one, skipping away from Alyssa Allen. So if you're Coach Bump, you just want to get ahead of the problem.
Well, Maine tried to get ahead of what was happening and occurring with Binghamton just an onslaught offensively last half inning. But Allison Reith unable to give any relief for the Black Bears, and Zettelmoyer had to come back in to close out the final 3 outs. Another one bounced in the turf. Well, the momentum had swung firmly into Binghamton's side and perspective. Maine starting to try to grab some of that pendulum back onto their favor. 2-1 pitch to Inman, again bouncing the turf. 3 straight low ones.
Yeah, not competitive pitches after the visit to the circle from Kennedy, and she just needs to focus and center herself here, both in the dirt and in the turf, and just pull it together, get that release point right.
Back up the middle, through all the way. 2 runs will score as rounding third, and coming in is Neve Adams, and the Black Bears get 2 back, and they now trail this one 9-5.
Well, one thing that Maine has done all season long is when they get in a hole, they don't wave the white flag. This is a team who knows that they are not going to be the favorites most times. This is a team who has seen adversity, but they always power through, and they make it interesting. They are going to keep swinging until the final bell rings. They've done a great job to respond here, putting up 2 runs for the second inning in a row. And I did not think Kira Inman maybe should have swung at that pitch, but it turns out really good. She went golfing, ended up hitting a hole-in-one, so to speak.
Well, we'll have a new pitcher for the Bearcats coming up as Kennedy's day is done. We'll step aside, coming back with the details on the new Binghamton Bearcat pitcher You're watching the Northeast Delta Dental American Softball Championship on ESPN+. New pitcher, Delaney Glover, junior from North Carolina. 3-6 record, sporting a 7.12 ERA and 40 1/3 innings pitched in 2026.
And when Delaney Glover comes in, they swap out the backstop. So Elissa Allen makes a move to designated player, I believe, and Lawson is behind the plate.
They're going to say that was not fouled. It was just a cut through.
Could have sworn Robles got a piece, but perhaps not.
Well, Inman's going to advance over to second base now in scoring position as Robles, 1 for 1 with a walk. Runs scored back in the second. Straight at second base back in the fourth. Swing and a miss there. Healthy cut. Comes up empty for the second straight swing.
Delaney Glover in the circle. 2 outings against Maine this year. March 29th in a thrilling 12-11 Bearcat win, a total shootout. She gave up 7 earned runs in an inning and a third versus the Black Bears down in Vestal, New York, including 2 Black Bear home runs. But then she rebounded at Maine on April 18th in a 4-3 Bearcat loss. She went 1 1/3 and surrendered just 1 run, striking out 3.
Swing and a miss. What a bear down by Delaney Glover to get the first out of this 5th inning.
Great start to the outing by Glover. Robles couldn't line that one up. Deceptive out of the hand and just blew it right by her like a car on the highway.
Now we see what Madison Hand can do. Lined out, and lined out is probably saying it conservatively speaking. It was a great defensive play in right field. That occurred back in the 4th inning. Just an amazing play by Dodig out there to rob potentially extra runs and a base hit for Maddie Hand, who also reached base by way of an error back in the 2nd inning. This one missing high, and the count will be 1-1.
Madison Hand, one of her best outings of the season, came on April 19th at home versus Binghamton. A fundamental part in the Black Bear win. 2 for 4 with a double and a triple and 5 runs batted in.
This one popped up, looks to be playable. Just by second base, picked up. Kopech has it. And the second out in a row recorded by Glover and the Bearcats. Now it's going to come down to Abby Ree. Ree, 6-4-3 double play that she hit into in the 2nd inning. And then later walked. As you can see there, good backpedaling by Kopech. It's a difficult spot to try to gather a ball. Inside, but called a strike. Jonah, you were mentioning earlier today, this is first career start for Miss Abby Ree.
Well, she started a number of times last year, I believe. First start of the season here, coming in tournament time.
And that one misses.
Yeah, oh my.
So the Bearcat fans were clapping with the last one that they thought from this vantage point, might have been a little too inside, but that one looked to be over the plate. They didn't like that it wasn't called a strike.
Perhaps a touch high.
Fouled over. It's one of those you get some, you lose some type of deals. Riverhawk team fervently warming in anticipation of them playing the Bryant Bulldogs in the next contest. Called strike 3. Set down in order after coming in relief by Delaney Glover. Though the Blackbears get 2 more back and the game has tightened. It's 9-5. Binghamton on top as we head to the home half of the 5th. Coming up next on ESPN Plus.
Welcome back into the Pierre and Catherine Labatt Softball Complex on the campus of the University of Maine. Binghamton broke out for 9 in the bottom of the 4th. Maine responded with 2 in the top of the 5th to keep this one within a feasible distance. And Ava Zettelmoyer in the circle here will face Akira Kopech, and she'll take outside. Made the initial training squad roster this summer for USA Women's Baseball, so the skill set transfers from baseball to softball for Kopech. Such a versatile player. My name's Jonah Smith. Brian Stackpole catching some air real quick. Broadcast team behind the scenes led by Ryan Leffler and Marissa Tripp, and great dedicated crew bringing you the tournament all week long here from Orono. The 2-0. Catches the outer half of the plate. Good location from Zettelmoyer, who started today's game. Was touched up and then gave way to Allison Reith in relief, who failed to record an out and was tagged for 4 runs. Zettelmoyer delivers. That one's up and away. Three balls, 1 strike. Kopech in the driver's seat to start the frame, and she will take on the lower part of the plate, just at the knees, for strike 2 to run it full. Payoff pitch outside. Kopech works a walk. And with that, I will welcome back into the broadcast booth Brian Stackpole.
Thanks, Jonah. See if the Bearcats can continue exactly where they left off in the 4th. The wind really picking up, too. I was checking the weather forecast earlier, and a lot of wind in the vicinity, but a lot of rain also coming in the area in the very near future. First pitch, a strike. Bearcats still trying to generate some offense. It looked like Binghamton was on the cusp of ending this game one early, but doesn't seem like it's going to be the case here anymore as the Black Bears clawing back in and making this a 4-run game. Black Bears do have some action back in their bullpen, too, just in case Zettelmoyer runs into some fatigue. Right back up the middle, but will stay up enough for Inman. And there's the first out of the bottom of the 5th.
Nice cut by Minichbach. Like we said, secret weapon for Binghamton in the 9 spot, but Inman intertracks. Took maybe a step or two. Back to the top of the Bearcat order. And, I mean, indiscriminate of where you are in this lineup. You know chaos can unfold at any second. We saw that occur in the bottom half of the 4th. That was the last time Binghamton was up, and they want to keep pouring it on.
See what Rachel Carey can do. 1 for 3 day for her. Feel like she's just on the cusp of a huge at-bat. To have a nice one earlier back in the big 4th inning that Binghamton played 9 runs, but that being said, it does have 2 disappointing outs, 1 ground out, 1 pop out on the first pitch of the contest. This time we'll send it high and deep, going back, and that one is well over the fence. Home run for Rachel Carey, who deposits that one near the field hockey complex and gives the 10th and 11th run for Binghamton.
Three, 2, 1, liftoff. Opposite field jack from Rachel Carey. And just music right off the bat. It's like when you line it up in the video game and you get that perfect feedback. Just so beautifully timed. Best part of the bat on it. And a no-doubt moonshot over the fence in right field. And earlier today, Binghamton Sports Information Director David O'Brien said, hey, do you guys have any ballpark staff out there? Because we're going to be hitting them to that area where there's going to be someone needing to chase the softballs. And coy little comment from David, longtime respected professional, did a great job getting us all prepared to talk about Binghamton today. And seems like his prediction came to fruition, Brian.
Absolutely. And I will say there's some great sports information directors and media people throughout the landscape, specifically in the Americas Conference. I think the core on the softball side are some of the best in the business as well, too. That's some phenomenal ones. Katie at University of Maine, who's running point, has done an excellent job all season long throughout hockey and men's ice hockey, now into softball.
Sure thing. Extra burden on Katie Peverada's shoulders this week, too, hosting the tournament. She just does such an impeccable job every time, regardless of what she's been called upon to do. And so many multi-talented people across this conference. And
this one won't be a home run, but will be another base knock as Allen will reach base with 1 down, and after 2 runs have gone across. David O'Brien, one of the best in the business, too, wanted to continue those thoughts. He is absolutely a superstar when it comes to sports information. I cannot say how much information he did provide over. Normally, sometimes you'll get game notes, but David is one of those people who care about the sports and the athletes, too, who spend countless hours, days, weeks away from classrooms, family, just to be able to play the sport of softball or any other competition. And that's why you have to honor the athletes as such, because when they dedicate themselves so much into a sport or a contest, you should give them the same respect. And that's kudos to all the sports information directors that are associated with all these schools.
Sure thing. If you're listening at home, and you're thinking, wow, these Brian and Jonah guys, they sound pretty smart. Well, it's mostly people like David and Katie who sort of make that happen. So big thanks to those two and to every other SID working here at the tournament and across all seasons of America Esports.
Yes. Casey May at UAlbany, too. Phenomenal. Always keeping us addressed. This one right back up the middle. Looks like we might have part 2 of the 4th inning. 9 runs in the 4th. Now a potential of more than the 2 runs they've already put up in the 5th.
Well, the slasher film that unfolded in the bottom of the 4th was a box office hit with Binghamton fans, and now it looks like the sequel might be in production here in the bottom of the 5th. 2 across already, 1 out, and the line just keeps moving for Binghamton.
And the Black Bears will have a new pitcher trying to stem the tide of this Bearcat offense. Look at the details on the new Maine pitcher when we come back on the Northeast Delta Dental American Softball Championship on ESPN+. New pitcher for the Black Bears, and it's a first-year pitcher, the righty Hannah Hipwell. Looked very good for the Black Bears. She came in and started logging some time in the America East Conference. Very strong, and we'll see if she can bottle some of that magic that she had versus UMass Lowell in the start a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, you said it. 2 games at home versus UMass Lowell, 2 very strong performances, 7 and 6 innings respectively from Hipwell on April 11th and 12th. As far as the Bearcats are concerned, however, they have just torn apart pretty much every pitch they're seeing from Hannah Hipwell. I'm bad at quick math, so I'm not going to get you the numbers in this instant, but let's see. 12 earned runs across 6 1/3 innings, so real struggle.
Yeah. Though Lawson sends that one to the sky, and it's so high up that could bring rain, and I hope it does not.
Yeah, and you know, those statistics aren't an indictment on Hannah Hipwell, who's been a great young righty in the developing Black Bears pitching staff, but more of just a testament to the ungodly amount of slug in Binghamton's lineup that they pair with their ability to just make contact.
This is a team that, when they're clicking and hitting well, is just almost unstoppable. As you can see by that 9 on the scoreboard that they put up in just 1/2 inning. They were scoreless, Binghamton was, in the first 3 innings. They put up 9 and now 2 runs, still with just 1 batter out in the bottom of this 5th inning. Rifle down the line, out of play. Hipwell getting the sign from the first base dugout. Black Bear offense has shown signs of life in the last couple innings, but they just need to get the outs to get back to the offensive side, and a huge strikeout of Lawson there for Hipwell coming in, facing her first batter.
Brilliant work by Hipwell to work the zone that time and catch a dangerous hitter looking, gave her the Medusa treatment. Took a look, and then she turned to stone.
Well, now here's Maddie Dodig. 1 for 2 day. Run scored, and a sacrifice fly last time up at the plate. Back in the 4th inning. Grounded weakly down the sideline, on the first base side.
Well, Hipwell knows that I'm pretty sure technically this game could end on one swing of the bat here. Bases clearing, extra base hit would put the run rule in play, I believe, unless my math is not mathing.
Yeah, that would be the case, I believe.
So
8 runs, just 2 runs plated here.
Even though it would be an improbable turnaround, Hipwell is committed to keeping her team in this game. Double elimination tournament, so the season does not end today for Maine if they can't turn this around. But no point in laying limp, and Maine is so good at picking themselves up off the canvas, so to speak.
And no sleeping in tomorrow either. As this one rifled down the line. Again, there's still some rain in the forecast, too. It's coming in here relatively soon, and then a large majority of tomorrow. So be sure to check out the social media channels on X, Facebook, for the Americas Conference, just in case anything does change, like the movement up of the 2 games or 3 games today by an hour. Though even with that movement, I don't believe the third and final game is going to be on time.
We'd have to start like right about now, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Yeah, originally that game was supposed to start at 4 o'clock. It got moved up to 3. But the first game went a little bit longer than anticipated, and this one much longer than had been budgeted. Check swing. Didn't go around. So Matty Dodig will stay alive here with a 2-2 count. 2 runners on with 2 down. Bottom of the 5th inning. And that one will miss. Well, the count will be full now. And with the runners at first and second base, and Dodig at the plate, that means the runners will be off on the pitch. Getting a little extra boost. They'll have to retreat back to their bags again after that one's sent right back into the netting. The hip well pitch. Off the end of the bat. Will it get in? It will. Bounces off the chest of Ree. They're going to send the runner across. The throw at the plate is going to be in time as they gun down McDonough at the plate. And that's how the inning will end. But a couple more runs across the board for the Bearcats after 5 complete. It's Binghamton 12, Maine 5, as you're watching the Northeast Delta Dental Americas Softball Championship on ESPN+.
For Binghamton in the 5th inning, 3 runs on 4 hits.
Well, how about this throw into home plate? The tag applied by Morgan Poole. And that means we get a little bit more of this matchup here in the second game of 3 scheduled to start off day 1 of the Americas Softball Championship presented by Northeast Delta Dental. First pitch misses. It's a great throw by Abby Ree out in right field. Tag applied properly and allows Maggie Helms to come up to the plate again. And a swing and a miss through.
Maggie Helms having a great day. 2 for 2, 3 runs batted in, stole a base, and unfortunately, it's perhaps in vain today.
Well, Jonah's got the tough task of choosing the Jersey Mike sub-above player of the game today. This one will miss outside. If the Black Bears were to come back and win this, I have to imagine Maggie Helms has a very good opportunity to take that one. For the Binghamton Bearcats, a good spread of offense and production across the board. Right back, did not flinch that time, Jonah.
Yeah, if there was no screen there, that was actually headed directly toward my face. So
Yep.
I'm pretty proud of my ability to be.
We'd get a lot more souvenirs, I would say, without that netting. But also probably a lot more broken balls.
A lot more shiners for sure.
Here's the 2-2 to Helms. That misses high. Count be full. Helms has had an excellent game, a single and a double. 3 runs batted in. Payoff pitch, swing and a miss. Glover has been excellent out there on the circle, or in the circle, I should say. 4 straight Black Bears retired.
Yeah, massive props to Delaney Glover. You know, this season for Glover in conference, it was like a box of chocolates. You never knew what you were going to get, but this time she stepped out there and she's been immaculate. 4 up, 4 down, 3 strikeouts. So confident in the circle today has Glover been.
And now taking on the number 9 hitter, Morgan Poole, and it's good to see Morgan in good health after getting a foul ball back into the catcher's helmet. This one's going to miss. Count will be 1-1. Infield crashing in on each pitch. Was thrown down a bunt once or twice before, but may need some runs. Trailing by 7 currently. Count 2-1. The one thing I love about the Binghamton fans is they're consistent even while up by 7 runs. They want to make sure every call is as favorable as possible for them. Yeah, Delaney Glover has been excellent in the circle. On the cusp of a 5th straight Black Bear retired. Count will be full. Lefty Poole awaits this payoff pitch. And just a piece of it to the netting. And if the score were to hold right now, the Bearcats would advance to day 2 of the tournament. UMass Lowell would be taking on number 1. 3-0 pitch. Coming to Francesca Guerrera. And it's going to be a 4-pitch walk. So first time that we've seen here, Delaney Glover has missed not retiring a Black Bear batter. It'll be now Kaylin Larkin, who's had 3 really strong hit balls in her 3 at-bats before prior. This will be her 4th. 2 singles, a run scored. Lined into a 3 unassisted double play as Emma Larson had to dive and get the ball and then tag the bag basically in succession to get the out. This one a called strike. Count 1-1, 2 down as the wind starts to pick up and the flags blowing from left to right across the outfield. Rifled down the line, but foul.
Yeah, no shortage of pop in the swing of Kaylin Larkin. Does such a great job making contact, and she's got more to add to her storybook first season of America East competition, but she's going to be so dynamic next year, and just watch her blossom.
This one will find its way into the outfield. Black Bears have their first hit of this inning, and they'll continue things with a little 2-out rally brewing. 4-pitch walk, and now a base knock for Larkin will bring Neve Adams up to the plate, who's reached base all 3 times she's come to the plate today.
And if Larkin keeps this torrid pace going, really no matter what happens to the Black Bears, she might end up on the all-tournament team. And safe to say the whole team is going to keep working as hard as they can the rest of today and tomorrow. But that's got to feel good, having a strong individual performance.
Glover just 1 out away from getting out of this inning. She picked up 2 back-to-back after retiring 5 straight Black Bears. Peppers in a first pitch strike to Neve Adams. A double, a single, and a walk for Adams, who now finds herself down to the count 0-2. Again, Binghamton could still end this game early as long as they just had to play 1 run in the bottom half of the 6th. This will miss. Had an opportunity to end the game early back in the bottom of the 5th inning. Runner thrown out at home that we saw. Lawson tried to frame that one back into the zone, but to no avail. Count be 2-2 with 2 down. Or fouls that one back up and above us and out of play. Glover towing the rubber in the circle. Looking to close out the Bears in this inning. Instead, we'll bounce it. And it will be a full count with 2 down and a chance for the runners to leave the base and get a nice head start on the pitch. Called strike 3. Adams thought she had a ball 4, and the base is loaded. Instead, gets the bad news. Maine held scoreless in the top of the 6th. We head to the bottom of the frame. Coming up next, 7-run lead for the Binghamton Bearcats on ESPN+.
At Northeast Delta Dental, we love to see people smile. And as the leading provider of quality dental coverage for Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont, we're committed to helping entire communities smile. Whether it's through education, supporting our veterans, or giving and volunteering, we're helping to make our communities even stronger. Learn more about Northeast Delta Dental at nedelta.com. We think you'll find a lot to smile about.
This is a place where bright minds meet, where innovative education and groundbreaking research thrive. A world-class institution with renowned faculty and endless opportunity. This is Binghamton University, the premier public university in the Northeast.
This is Maine. Wild, real, undeniably bold, with deep roots and endless horizons. From Acadia to Katahdin, from labs to lobster boats, this is where you push limits, explore new ideas, and discover your potential. So call it grit, call it pride, call it ingenuity. Whatever it is, you've got it. This is Maine. Claim your place.
Welcome back to the Pierre and Catherine Labatt Softball Complex for the Northeast Delta Dental American Softball Championship, hosted by the University of Maine. Brian Stackpole joined by Jonas Smith. And it is the host team, the University of Maine Black Bears, the number 5 seed.
Get a nice look at today's Jersey Mike's sub-above player of the game from Game 1, Olivia DeCitas.
And they're anticipating playing here in a couple minutes. 40 minutes or so to be precise, whenever this game ends. Especially with Binghamton on top by 7 runs. They're on the cusp of ending this game a tad bit early. Unless they could have ended this game much earlier. Maine doing a great job battling back and never giving up. Including the Black Bears right fielder Abby Marie throwing out a runner at home plate to end last inning. This off the end of the bat looks to be possibly playable, but instead will drift over and out of play. As it's Payne, Wolf, and Kopech due up here for the Bearcats, and already an 0-2 count for Lauren Payne, the designated player. Pitch low. 1-2 now the count. Coming up at the end of this one, we'll have our Jersey Mike sub-above player of the game. Tough choice with 12 runs on the board for the Bearcats. And this one grounded down the first base side, but foul. Long game here in the second installment. First one went just a tiny bit over. This one started, I think, at roughly 12:45.
I think they always schedule a bit optimistically.
Yeah, I think so too. Baseball, they're a little bit more aggressively spaced, but not too much where you don't have to push games back. Like last year when Mahaney Diamond was the host of the Americas baseball tournament, there was a couple times where games had to get pushed back. Again, massive amounts of rain in the end of May last year did not help the proceedings. Fingers crossed we avoid that for the majority of this week. Grounded weakly, right in front of home plate. Poole fires over in time. A nervous chuckle emanates down from below for the Binghamton Bearcats.
They want a review.
Well, they do have one left. We've had 3 already today. And I think she was safe too. Well, there was one call already today where a Maine runner at first base was called safe on a throw, then got reversed and was later called out. Now we'll see if we get the inverse of that here, where a runner's called out at first base and was truly safe.
This should be the second overturn for our first base umpire, Thomas Oliver, but not in an enviable position today. Those were 2 razor-thin calls. He had to be positioned, to make multiple calls on the first one, which was a double play opportunity. And on this one, it doesn't get too much closer than that, but just a brilliant track by our man over at third base. That's Thomas Bubniak operating the camera today. And Again, umpires not working with the same set of angles that we have. They can't see our cameras. We can't see theirs. So there could be something different that they're seeing. But from our perspective, that looks like it should be overturned.
Well, Binghamton, their third challenge of the contest. They tried one. They were unsuccessful. Binghamton 1 for 1 so far today, looking to go to 66.67%. As the wind continues to whip, and you wonder if the rain will start to come too. UMass Lowell had been warming up. They have since stopped warming, and they're now watching the proceedings. Well, again, if the scores were to hold as such here, the Black Bears would be playing tomorrow morning against UAlbany. The Binghamton Bearcats would be waiting the winner of the Bryant-UMass Lowell game that would come scheduled right after this one wraps. Umpires still reviewing everything currently. Jen just checked the weather forecast as the umpires now come out of the video replay areas. It looks like it's going to start raining any moment now, too. So we'll, again, keep you abreast of any information we have. Fingers crossed we're able to get the third and final game of the day in before tomorrow.
That one should be a treat. I'm excited to watch it, but
yeah,
Mother Nature might have other plans.
Definitely looks ominous off in the distance. Doesn't look like thunder or lightning, which is always the worst thing. All right, we've got the final review and the conclusion of the results. All right, so the rolling on the field has been reversed, and it will be a single for Lauren Payne.
She's been good all day, and now she's the winning run. Jammed that time, but now just 3 bases away from locking up this one. A little bit ahead of schedule for Binghamton.
I will say that was the right call, too, with a reversal. Coach just bumped now. 2 for 3. A bunt here. Fielded cleanly, fired over to first. In time. I don't think they're going to review that again.
Yeah, looked like the right call that time for Mr. Oliver. Good rebound. We'll take another look. Just another brilliantly executed bunt from Wolf. We've seen that all season long. And quarter step. Brilliant call by our umpire. Definitely the right call.
I think if the game wasn't a 7-run differential, Coach Bump might have reviewed that one again. But instead, now runner in scoring position at second base in Lauren Payne. After Wolf is retired by way of a sacrifice, and now we see Kopech up at the plate. 0 for 1 today. 2 runs scored, though, on a walk and reaching base on an error. Another strike peppers the zone, 0-2. Oh, nice off-speed pitch, but just missing the outside black. Hipwell reads the sign. Trying to bear down to get the second out. Missed that one low. Wind continuing to whip across the field from the left side. Ooh, that one's going to hit her. Looked like she was going to offer to Kopech, and then it just went up right up on the shoulder. Hit her pretty flush and firm. She'll happily trot over to first base.
Ouch.
Well, actually, didn't hit as high up as I thought, just a little bit above the elbow. First pitch, missing outside. Opportunity to plate in the 13th and what would be final run for Minichbach. Fouls it back to the netting. Count be 1-1. th start of the season for Rebecca. Minichbach, a pretty good game today. 1 for 3. With a run scored back in that 9-run 4th inning. Hipwell induces a ground ball, but to the left side of the third base line. So we'll do a 2-2 pitch here. Kopech at first base. Lauren Payne over at second base in scoring position. And that one will miss high. Count is full. This one right into the glove of Kaylin Larkin, who steps on the first base bag to end the inning. Defense has been showing off today in Game 2 as we head to Maine's last chance when we come back in the Delta Dental America East Softball Championship on ESPN+. Welcome back to Pierre and Catherine Labatt Softball Complex for the Northeast Delta Dental America Softball Championship, hosted by the University of Maine and the host team, the Maine Black Bears, down to their final 3 outs. They need 7 runs to continue this game, and only 3 outs in which to work with. Kira Inman will swing through that one for strike 1. If things were to hold, the Black Bears would be playing in game number 1 tomorrow. It'll be the first elimination game of the tournament. Binghamton would play in game number 2, scheduled for 1:30 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. Again, weather is permitting, so keep that in mind and be sure to follow the America East If you aren't already on all social media platforms, including Facebook, X, basically wherever you get your social media.
If you're not following the America East on social media, you've been living under a rock and you're missing out.
It's a first early adopter subscriber as well. Always some great content, too. You can always find out the weekly award winners and see how your favorite school's stacking up. 2-1 count here to Inman. That one will miss 3-1.
Spring is in full swing on those social media accounts. We don't have, the University of Maine does not have lacrosse in their programs here, the host school, but
yeah,
so many schools in the America East, so proud of their lacrosse programs, and that is nearing playoff season.
Actually just wrapped up.
Oh, wow. Looks like I'm living under a rock, Brian. Somebody catch me up with the times.
And I got to verify this one, but I believe, again, I don't follow the lacrosse side of things just as much, but I'm pretty sure Albany won both of them.
Clean sweep.
Yes.
Let's
I'll verify, yeah. I got this actually popped up on my computer right now, but full count here with Inman, trying to get things going for the Black Bears here. Payoff pitch. High fly ball. Looks like it's going to be hooking foul. Some chase. No, it's going to stay in the field of play, and Wolf's going to gather that one up right at the line for out number 1. Excellent work there.
How about Delaney Glover through these 2 1/3 inning of relief of Olivia Kennedy? Just cruising. 1 hit, 1 walk issued, 4 strikeouts of Black Bear hitters, and so confident. She's pitching with such conviction. The velocity's there. She's mixing speed and location, and really pulled out a gem of a relief outing to help clamp down this presumptive victory.
Pop up over our head. Quickly down the count, 0-2 is Robles. Yeah, I did confirm Albany did win both the women's and men's America East lacrosse titles.
Huge congratulations to the Great Danes. Well-deserved sweep. And I'm starting to see a few spots of precipitation come down here.
Oh, bat out of the hand of Robles. Just getting a piece of that one. Yeah, I'm starting to notice, too, the umbrellas popping out down below, which is usually the truest sign that it's starting to rain.
Looks like it's going to keep consistently drizzling for the next 60 minutes, and the radar shows a bleak outlook from there, Brian. So I'm dying to see this matchup between UMass Lowell in the regular season number 1s. I'm really on the edge of my seat, excited for that, but not going to be possible if it's downpouring.
1-2 pitch just outside. Lawson tried to bring that one back into the frame, but to no avail.
Well, I hope a number of these traveling teams packed for Sunday, too, because we're likely to see conditions like this throughout the week. And Sunday is the rain day.
Good news with the schedule as such. There's some flexibility on Friday, which seemingly should be good, as long as the rain doesn't get pushed and the forecast doesn't change. Only 1 game scheduled currently for Friday afternoon. Oh, a great job at this bat. Moved by Robles. She worked from down in the count all the way back to full, and then took that pitch.
So patient. And that plate discipline has been under construction for Robles since she got to the University of Maine. And as a program, they're good at taking walks. They're trying to limit the strikeouts, and it's been something to watch for sure.
Madison Hand, 0 for 3 day today. Did reach base back in the 2nd inning by way of an error. And they're going to go over and just quickly meet between Glover, along with Carey and Lawson, just making sure everything's all lined here, knowing that they just need 2 more outs to complete this first game America East victory. Swing and a miss. Very healthy cut by Maddie Hand. Hand unable, though, to get the bat on the ball.
Some zip on that one from Glover.
1-1. Swing and a miss. The throw down to first base, and they almost get Robles sleeping.
Emma Lawson behind the plate, the defensive versatility. Saw her record a 3U unassisted double play at first base earlier in this game. Took over behind the plate when Delaney Glover stepped into the circle, and that was a razor-thin margin on that back pick.
Pop up, looks to be playable. Dodig, step back, then steps in, comes up with this one. We're out number 2, and the Black Bears down to their final chance here. Let's see if Abby Ree is scheduled to come up for the Black Bears. And she will come up there to the plate.
Right fielder, Abby Ree.
Representing the Black Bears' last chance. 0 for 2 today for Ree with a walk. Took that pitch outside and low for ball 1.
Well, commendable effort today from the Black Bears. We noticed, or, if you're watching at home, you probably saw Binghamton's 9-run bottom of the 4th.
One hop. Looks to eat up Carey. And Ree will stay alive, and so will the Black Bears. She reaches base by way of an error.
There's very little to complain about today if you're a Binghamton Bearcat fan, but the left side of their infield has been just a little bit snake-bitten today. 2 errors by Minnickbach, 1 by Rachel Carey, who are both very, very strong typically on the left side of that infield. But also today, they've both made good plays. Minnickbach involved in a double play. Carey knocked down a hot shot and threw it across the diamond to eliminate a fast runner earlier in the game. So can't hang your head.
Helms had a great game for the Black Bears today. 3 runs batted in. A double, a single. Did strike out 1 time. Here's the 1-2. That one misses. 1-1. Bearcat faithful again disappointed that wasn't called a strike. Right at the glove. One hops in to Carey as the America East Player of the Year steps on the bag. And a resounding Binghamton comeback and victory in this one as they'll punch their ticket to Game 2 scheduled tomorrow with a 12-5 victory versus the Maine Black Bears here in this tournament.
Total team domination today from Binghamton. Obviously, the headline on the front page is going to be the 9-run bottom of the 4th. Maine was up 3-0 in this game, remember. That feels like an eon ago, but this was something that the Black Bear fans were starting to feel excited about in attendance. They were up 3-0, thinking they would steal a 3rd straight game from Binghamton. Not to be today, as the Bearcats crush the dreams, put an end to that fairy tale, and real complete day. The pitching was solid, the hitting was solid, the fielding was solid, and well-deserved day 1 win for Binghamton.
Well, let's now try to figure out here, Jonah. You got the tough task who our Jersey Mike sub-above player of the game is for the Binghamton Bearcats after a resounding victory in which they trailed this one by 3 runs and then outscored Maine 12-3 or 12-2 the rest of the way out. Who are you going to give the sub-above player of the game?
Yeah, well, complete team performance offensively, some solid pitching to start and in relief for Binghamton. But today's sub-above player of the game is going to be the player of the year, Rachel Carey, number 42. Went 2 for 4, came around to score twice, 4 runs batted in, including an opposite field moonshot. And the Bridgeville, Delaware native was a preseason all-conference selection and proved everybody right this season. Didn't stop today either.
And she recorded the last out in the field, too. Jersey Mike's a proud supporter of America East Women's Sports. Jersey Mike's a sub above. Well, that's going to do it for game number 2 of this Northeast Delta Dental America East Softball Championship on ESPN+. We will be back with game 3. Again, weather permitting, Check the social media details for all your latest updates as well. Again, the third and final game between Bryant and UMass Lowell scheduled for roughly around 45 minutes from now. But for the time being, for my broadcast partner, Jonah Smith, Brian Stackpole saying so long from Orono, where the final score is Binghamton 12, Maine 5. This has been a presentation of ESPN.